I really like. Hi, I'm Don Bodan from SampleLibraryReview.com, and today we're going to be checking out the pre-release of Abbey Road 1 Orchestral Foundation by Spitfire Audio. Spitfire is back, this time with a massive announcement here. They've recorded a 90-piece orchestra in Abbey Road Studios, Studio 1. Now, if you don't know why this is exciting, it's because some of the premiere scores have been recorded in the studio, including Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all the Avengers. Abbey Road 1 Orchestral Foundations downloads a 69.6 gigabytes. It's an orchestral sample set recorded in Abbey Road Studio 1, mixed by Grammy-winning sound engineer Simon Rhodes, who we've heard mixes from on Avatar, Hugo, Harry Potter, etc., etc. It includes low and high string instruments and woodwind sections, as well as low brass, horns, and trumpet instruments, and a selection of percussion. It does run in Spitfire's dedicated audio plugin, which is a standalone AU, VST, and AAX. Now, at the time of putting this out, it's on a pre-order. It will be released on November 5th, 2020. You can pick it up during pre-order for $349. Normal sales price will be $449. Now, there was one additional note I want to make sure you know about, is that Spitfire is offering the pre-order price with a bonus. If you pick it up during pre-order, you can choose another title in the Abbey Road 1 series. They are promising to release film scoring selections instruments in early 2021. So if you grab Abbey Road 1 during pre-order, they're promising you'll get a free copy of one of the film scoring selections libraries in the future. Alright, that was just a mock-up I did trying to learn about the instrument. Spent about an hour. Programming could be a little bit better, but it starts to give me a feel for how the instrument performs and how it reacts, especially amongst the other instruments. If you'd listen back to that piece, my big takeaway is just how wonderful the percussion sounds. Overall, the orchestra has a really nice bite to it. I think the room, everything resonates. It has a beautiful tone to it, and just enough expressiveness in the tail to give you this really nice sense of depth without it becoming a super black hole reverb. Now, for the rest of this video, we're going to go ahead instrument by instrument, listening through the different articulations, and a couple of the instruments we're going to go ahead and break down some different microphone positions so we can hear what the capabilities are, because as you could see, they've given us a couple mic mixes, some vintage mixes, close, tree, ambience, outriggers. Let's start off by listening to these staccatos on their own. Overall, a really nice tone. I like this orchestral instrument. As you can see, the way this is set up, it's the full orchestra in tutti, in unison, balanced, and it says it's useful for sketching or for adding power. I think the beauty of this instrument is that you can just grab it and start writing right away. I also really love the tone, especially the staccatos, how much bite is in the low brass balancing with the other instruments. And I'm just playing a little chordal thing to get a feel for how it bounces around in the room. Let's move over to longs, and I'm going to start to adjust my expression. Then we've got a couple other articulations, short swells, medium swells, and then long swells. And you can hear these aren't just mapped across the keyboard as one sample. Each of these notes has the same length, which is beautiful because as you play chords, they all line up. Now let's go back to the staccato, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and just loop a little bit of that composition that I mocked up at the beginning so that we can hear the staccato hit, and we're going to listen to some variations in the microphone positions. Now, what I do here is a consistency in timbre across all of them. You really do get a feel that obviously they weren't only recorded in the same room, but that each position is only giving us a different sense of space. They seem to have a really nice, consistent EQ quality, balance across the spectral range. There's a lot of nice separation once you're listening to these trees. I think tree 1 for me, and I really appreciate separation in orchestral instruments. I can hear the strings on my left and the brass a little bit to my right. The outrigger, I think this sounds lovely. And that close mic. These mixes, 1 and 2, have their own kind of character. And I think each one kind of lends itself to a slightly different timbre set. Without spending a whole lot more time on the mic mixes, let's go ahead and jump into some of the other instruments so that we'll get a chance to listen through everything today. Here are the high strings, and you've got long, tremolo. A lot of really neat room sound. You really hear those guys going at it with the bow. Spiccato patch. And a pizzicato patch. There's a low strings patch here. Now, one thing I noticed about the expression throughout, it's not niente, it doesn't go to silence, but it goes to such a near silence that I think a fade from silence is possible. Let's go ahead on to the brass trumpets here. I really like the sound of trumpets in this room, and I think just this first mic mix is really nice. Let's move on to the other articulations. Staccatissimos. And then moving on to the next brass instrument, which would be the horns. And the last one is a low brass instrument in the brass section. And I think this is one of I don't want to say my favorite patch of Abbey Road 1, but I think this is one of the things I really love about the instrument is the low brass bitiness, that blat that's captured the room, the way that it just kind of bounces around in there. It gives a little bit of depth and bite to it. Let's move on to the next ones, which are the woodwinds, high woodwinds. And I do want to comment here on this high woodwind patch. Although I really like the tone of it, and I feel that it resonates in the room, there's something interesting about the way this instrument works together with the other Abbey Road ones in my little mock-up. I found that when I was playing way up high with this high woodwinds patch, it didn't absolutely blow away everything else in my orchestra. Instead, it kind of blended nicely with it, which was a big surprise because working with so many other orchestral libraries, when I'm playing high woodwinds in an orchestra room, all in the same room, high winds tend to just be over the top. This one seems to have a different kind of balance to it. I don't know if that's an intent of the developer or the way it was done with the mixing engineer, or if it's simply the way that winds react in this room. If so, I think it gives the orchestra a little bit more of a homogenized sound and gives me one less thing to kind of worry about, I guess, for my high winds orchestration. That's just a note I wanted to pass along. If you're using Abbey Road 1, love to hear what you think about that as well. Please comment below. Let's continue on listening to the high woodwinds. And continue on to the low woodwinds here. Now, I do appreciate the air sound of the room with the low winds. I just wish it had a little bit more growl. And I actually kind of feel, am I missing a contra bassoon down here? I think I might be. I have to double check in the literature because I kind of love that growly, low wind kind of sound. And I'm not able to get it either because of the way it performs in the room, the way the performers recorded it, or maybe it's just not captured on that next octave down. And another thing, it could be just, again, the way I'm perceiving this, but it feels like these low winds are a little bit low as well. And I'm wondering if that's something that I'll eventually be adjusting in my mixer, maybe adding a little bit of close mic to them. Now, this is a pretty exciting section. The percussion section, it only comes with a handful of actual instruments themselves, but the way they've built them, you've got instruments as articulations in some of the cases. So I'll just flip through a bunch of these with my mic off so you can hear these instruments in action. And that is the percussion instrument. As you see, you just kind of flip through those as articulations. And the drums instrument loads up with some of the same patches, just the drums of the percussion. The metals instrument has the metals of the percussion. It isn't until we get to the tune instruments that we get the mallets here with glockenspiel. A xylophone. And then for the timpani, we have a timpani hits. It looks like a left and right hand. So note here that there's no timpani rolls, which I would have liked to have seen. Now, the other thing that's nice is there is a full ensemble percussion instrument here. Which pulls up all of those percussion instruments across the keyboard. And then they have it as a drum ensemble. Or just a metals ensemble. And that, my friends, are what Abbey Road 1 comes with. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, one of the reasons I wanted to get this out right away is because that pre-order offer does include an additional expansion, which is set to be released in 2021. It sounds like this line will continue to expand with additional solo instruments. I'm hoping there's some effects, maybe some timpani rolls. What else do you think you would like to see next? Legato solo instruments? I'm very curious as to see how they roll out the rest of these. expansions to the library and what they choose to include in the next instruments to come. Please let me know below what you're thinking about Abbey Road 1 so far. I'd love to read your thoughts on it. I'm also planning to put together another video, maybe a small series of things on Abbey Road 1 as I experiment with it. So heads up, check out a video next week I'm hoping to put together sharing sounds of Abbey Road 1 versus sounds of Albion 1, because I think that is going to be a key factor for many of us as to which one we're going to go to and grab. I've been using Albion 1 for years. It's a go-to for sketching. Sometimes it stays in my finished work. But are these new high and low sections of Abbey Road 1 going to replace my go-tos with Albion 1? If you want to see that video, please let me know, and I'll try to get to it in the next week and share it with you. Thanks for spending a little time with me here today, checking out this pre-release of Abbey Road 1. Please like, share, and subscribe. Always appreciate your support. And be sure to come back by on the channel on Fridays for our Deal Compressor show, where we feature the latest deals, new releases, dollar deals, and we have some featured freebies that we want to make sure everybody hears about.